Let me go to my friend Juan Williams. Juan, good to see you, and thanks for being with us.
Nice to see you.
He does have a problem, meaning Barack Obama, on the issue of abortion. When he was in the Illinois Senate, there's a case of a bill that came before his committee, and this nurse by the name of Jill Stanek. And she testified before Barack Obama about a case of a Down syndrome baby that was born. It was a botched abortion. The child was born alive and literally dumped in a garbage can in a utility room. And the argument was that if these children, after a botched late-term abortion, were alive. Now, this nurse testified. She held this baby for 45 minutes as it struggled for life. And the only person to stand up in the Illinois Senate and oppose this, meaning protection for a child born alive after a botched abortion, was Barack Obama. Now, I think if people really understand that story, I think it would break the heart of anybody that has a conscience. Do you think this could be a big issue on abortion?
You mean that he stood up and said that that child has a right to live, Al? I mean, Sean?
Well, first of all, I'm going to have an exclusive interview on Hannity's America next week with this nurse. She testified before his committee that after the abortion of this Down syndrome baby, the baby lived. The bill would have ensured that any baby that lived after a botched abortion would be required by law to get medical care, and he spoke out against it.
Oh, he spoke against it?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why he would speak against it, and I think, you know, at this point, when you raise these issues, I suppose at that point, he was trying to prove that he was strongly in support of a woman's right to abortion. He wasn't trying to get into all these, you know, nose of the camel on the 10 issues that conservatives use, I think, to try to sort of edge the issue. But this is, to me, this is really a wonderful thing. I mean, you look at what Barack Obama's done here. Jim Wallace, you know, the evangelical leader at this point, has been an advisor on this bill.
I don't care who's speaking at the convention. You know, it's just another bitter American from Pennsylvania. Probably it's taken away time for him clinging to his gun and Bible. But
people of religious conscience who take this issue seriously and aren't just about the politics are saying it's a breakthrough in terms of Democrats.
But one, she testified, the child's born alive after a botched abortion, and he's against medical attention for that baby? You don't think that's radical?
I think that is radical. I don't know the details of the case. I don't understand why it would be. The only thing I can conceive of is, in my mind, that he was trying to say, we're not allowing any kind of exception and all this kind of thing that would somehow suggest that somehow we're not going to allow a woman the right to choose on abortion.
Like everything else with Barack Obama, it's all the appearance, and when it comes down to the real substance, it's radical. But we're going to have an exclusive interview with the nurse who testified before Barack Obama's committee with exclusive details of how he responded or his lack of response, and that's coming up a week from Sunday on Hannity's America. And let me go back to this abortion debate, Larry, because when we go back to that position of Jill Stanek, she's going to be on Hannity's America a week from Sunday. And she's going to tell the story about this baby born alive and the opposition that Barack Obama had in offering care for children who had botched abortions and lived, that they can't get medical care. When American people find out about that, those bitter Americans, is there going to be any repercussions to that?
Well, I'm not familiar with the incident, Sean, to be honest. I just heard about it from you. If it's as you describe it, I think it could be controversial. Now, having said that, you got to remember a couple things. First, this election is fundamentally about the economy and Iraq and other big issues like that. I honestly think social issues have taken a back seat to those other issues. And second, let's also allow for the possibility that public officials can grow and they can learn more about issues, and they can change their minds or broaden their perspectives.
We've learned that politicians can change their mind. I mean, I think Barack Obama, Todd, changes it every 5 seconds. But, you know, I just wonder, you know, in these times, if I'm not, I may be reading the tea leaves wrong here, but I'm seeing that Israel is preparing to launch an attack on Iran's nuclear facilities. We're watching the escalating situation now as Russian troops are heading to Tbilisi, Georgia. We now see we have to finish the job in Iraq. The economy is an issue. And then we have, of course, energy independence and Barack Obama's answers to inflate our tires. He doesn't seem to have a grasp of the issues. Do you think that's coming through with such a short time to go before Election Day?
I think that's the critical issue of this campaign, in that's why you see the McCain campaign every single day reminding voters that, just take the example in Georgia. In the late 90s, Senator McCain was a repeated visitor to Georgia, learning about that region. That same time, Barack Obama was in the Illinois State Senate, arguing about bills, to name bridges. And so I don't think that when you take the breadth of experience of someone like John McCain during turbulent times like this, and you compare it to someone like Barack Obama, I just don't think that during these times the country's going to turn the keys over to someone with such little experience.
You're familiar with this abortion thing. The act is actually called the Born Alive Infant Protection Act. You don't really believe that Barack Obama wants to kill infants outside the womb, do you? He didn't vote for that piece of legislation because there was already a law in place to protect these babies, and he was also opposed to the local law. He would have supported the federal version, which protected Roe versus Wade. You don't believe he wants to kill infants?
Look, I don't know Barack Obama. I'm going to go out on a limb and say no, he doesn't want to kill infants, but the fact of the matter is his record on life issues, on issues related to abortion, is far to the left of the average American.
He's pro-choice like most Americans, Todd.
No, the country is split. You look at the Gallup numbers, Alan, from just in May. The country is split exactly down the middle between people who self-identify themselves as pro-life and pro-choice.
Most people would not take a woman's right to choose away from that person or overturn Roe versus Wade.
Well, Alan, I'm just telling you what the numbers are. 48% of Americans describe themselves as pro-life.
We got to run. That's less than half. We got to run. We thank you all very much for being with us.